Our next presenter today is Madeline Westervelt. She's 12 years old. This is her 6th presentation for Schenectady County, and she is doing an illustrated talk on John Muir. Muir. I can never pronounce it right.
John Muir was a naturalist who fought to create our national parks. He lived a long and interesting life in the outdoors. John Muir was born on April 21st, 1838. His parents were farmers and had a strong opinion on Christianity, so much that by the time John was 10, he had memorized the whole Bible. John Muir loved to do dares with his brother and would often climb on the roofs of houses around him, or go in the dungeon in the castle ruins near their house. John Muir's love for the outdoors was kindled by his grandfather, who took him for walks through the woods. John taught himself math, science, and other subjects, and was very good at making machines, and when his farm work was done, he would build many amazing things, like a sawmill that used waters to cut the logs into planks. And this is a picture of John Muir's family. John Muir moved to America when he was in his tweens because his father thought there would be better land for farming there. He saw many different things, like the Northern Lights, which he'd seen in Scotland, but they were white there, not as colorful as they are in America. He also saw different kinds of birds, like the black-capped chickadee and the cardinal. John Muir was a farmer until he was 18, and then when he turned 18, the Civil War broke out, so he moved to Canada because he didn't want to have to take sides or get enlisted. In Canada, he would work for a broom factory. Just before the war ended in America, the broom factory burned down. After the war in America ended, he moved back to America and worked in many different factories there, spreading his inventions like a cuckoo clock. Soon John Muir got tired of factory work and would take a hike, a very long hike. This is a picture of young John Muir. John Muir would hike to Yosemite. John Muir would hike to San Francisco with a plant press in his backpack. When John Muir got to San Francisco, he didn't really like it there because it was very crowded, but he saw people growing flowers in their windows and realized that people needed nature. John Muir knew he wanted to get out of the city, so he asked the locals where he could go, and they pointed him towards the Sierras. Soon John Muir would find Yosemite Valley, which he loved when he first saw it. He called it nature's natural cathedral. He wanted to stay there, so he built a cabin and worked for a local hotel in the valley by giving tours. He would also take walks by himself, and whatever the weather. When it was raining, he'd like to climb up into the trees to see how the trees felt in the rain. And when it was snowing, he liked to climb up into the mountains and ride down on the avalanches. He knew he wanted the government to protect the Yosemite Valley. So he sent many letters to Congress until finally they passed a law saying parts of Yosemite Valley were protected. They called it a national park. Many more of these national parks would be made, but that didn't satisfy John Muir. He wanted the giant sequoias to be preserved. Theodore Roosevelt, the current president, and in this picture, asked John Muir to take him on a tour of Yosemite and the sequoias. Muir accepted. Muir took Roosevelt on a camping trip and told him stories about the giant sequoias. He also told Theodore Roosevelt how the sequoias were being cut down. Roosevelt was outraged, and as soon as he got back to office, he worked with Representative John Lacey to pass the Act for the Preservation of American Antiquities. This allowed the president to create national monuments. Lacey put it through Congress, and it became a law. As soon as this law was passed, Theodore Roosevelt made the sequoias into a national monument. He also made many other landmarks like the Grand Canyon into national monuments. And this is a picture of the giant sequoias. After this, Muir married Louisa Wanda Stritzel and had 2 kids, Wanda and Helen, who are all in this picture. John Muir had a farm, but it didn't suit him, and he was sad and missed the mountains, and he was also ill. So his wife told him to go back to Yosemite. He did and felt better. Soon John Muir would find a place he wanted to save called the Hetch Hetchy Valley, which a mayor of a nearby town wanted to make into a dam. Muir fought hard against this, but it didn't work, and the amazing place was made into a dam. This is the Hetch Hetchy Valley before it was dam. In John Muir's later years, he did a lot of writing and even had a room called the Scribble Room, which is in this picture. And John Muir died in 1914 because of pneumonia. John Muir loved the national parks and was always fighting for them. I think we should remember this quote when we go into a national park. Thousands of tired, nerve-shaken, over-civilized people are beginning to find that going to the mountains is going home, that the wilderness is a necessity. We should also remember John Muir and the hard work he did to preserve the national parks. Now it's our turn to preserve them. And this is Saratoga National Park, where I like to go. My writing credits are John Muir, America's First Environmentalist by Catherine Laskley, The National Parks, America's Best Idea by Ken Burns, To Save the Earth by Jules Archer, Muir's Nature Writings and Life Story by John Muir, and my photo credits are John Muir National Historic Website, Guardians of the Yosemite, Yosemite National Park website, nobelprize.org, and Sequoias National Park website. Any questions? Yes?
Did he receive a Nobel Prize? Or you just mentioned the Nobel? No? Oh, just curious.
Was there any particular reason you chose John Muir as a subject?
Was there any reason that I chose John Muir? I really like John Muir. He's one of my favorite people to study, so I wanted to do a presentation about him. Yes?
At what age did John Muir start getting interested in nature?
When did John Muir start getting interested in nature? I don't really know for sure, but I'm guessing it's about when he was like 10 or 12. Yes?
Have you been to any of the national parks?
Have I been to any of the national parks? Yes, I have been to Saratoga National Park and Valley Forge National Park, but I haven't been to any that John Muir has been to yet.
Any other questions? Good job. Thank you.